Democracy for the region is crucial, and this is very clear to President Trump. This is the last chapter of change, the last chapter of a nightmare for many citizens that were forced to migrate, that were forced to leave their country, or that lose their life. We're waking up from that nightmare, and we're waking up to dream in a prosperous Venezuela.
All right, what an amazing exchange that was. Trish Regan coming up in the next hour to talk about that back and forth she had with Juan Guaido. He's the opposition leader who Nicolas Maduro said, you can't leave the country. He seizes financial assets. He's also making it very tough. He says that he's doing things that are not in the country's interest. You know that goes. Obviously, there are a lot of worries. We know that Mr. Guaido has already spoken to Donald Trump earlier today on the phone, and a representative from his camp will be going out to the White House to speak directly to the president. But this situation is getting dicey by the minute. To the Heritage Foundation senior fellow Mike Gonzalez. Mike, good to have you. What do you make of Maduro obviously sort of upping the ante here, saying he's open to talks with the other side, but for good measure reminding the other side that the leader of that movement shouldn't leave the country and that his financial assets should and have been seized?
First of all, Neil, thanks for having me on. I've always been a big fan of yours. I don't think that Juan Guaido, they considered by this country now recognized as a legitimate leader of Venezuela, had any plans to go anywhere. He wants to be in Caracas. He wants to be in Caracas, and be part of a peaceful transition, according to what he says. I think Maduro and what Maduro is going to do with his gold reserves, leave aside what Juan Guaido's bank account might be. As you probably saw the Bloomberg news report yesterday, that a Russian 777 landed at Simon Bolivar Airport, and according to the report, it was there to take away 20 tons of gold. That's 10% of Venezuela's gold reserves. Maduro is running out of options. The Bank of England last week did not let him repatriate $1.2 billion of gold reserves stored in London. So I think it's the focus should be more on how things are encircling around Maduro, and whether he's going to go and seek exile somewhere else. I don't think Juan Guaido wanted to go anywhere. But one last thing. National Security Advisor John Bolton and even the socialist government of Spain have warned Maduro not to harm Juan Guaido.
John Bolton, real quickly, also has suggested that any American broker or trader thinking of investing or trading gold, oil, or other commodities from Venezuela, that they shouldn't. I don't know if he can enforce that, but what did you think of that?
Well, he had an impact, obviously, on the Bank of England. I think that a lot of entities around the world want to deal with the United States and want to hedge their bets on Maduro, to say the least, at this point. As I said, Venezuela has an estimated 200 tons of gold. It doesn't really have that. Maduro has pillaged his own oil industry, an oil industry that accounts for between 95% and 98% of export revenues for Venezuela. Venezuela is practically producing two things right now. Oil and refugees. A once wealthy country, by the way, that has been ruined by socialism.
Yeah, it is very sad, Mike. Thank you very much. Mike Gonzalez of the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C.